I'll have to try that. Although I think my oh, here we go. We're live. Good morning. We are live.
Good morning, Vin. How's everything?
Gee, just ducky, man. Absolutely ducky. It's a Wednesday morning. It's a wacky Wednesday.
I'm glad that I'm not in Turkey. It's a little hot over there.
Well, would you say it's
As
roasting?
I'd say that the NATO members that have so long joined us in a stand against tyranny and a takeover of Europe have come to the conclusion that our president has lost his marbles, and the American people have to be considered as crazy for electing him, and not once but twice. And he is dismantling the North Atlantic Treaties Organization with his shit for brains comments about the war in Iraq, which he's renewed this morning. We're back
we're back at war. Oil prices are up.
Yep.
This morning they jumped. I think I just had a thing on the
on your local pumps.
How much the oil price has risen today. Somewhere. I mean, that's
it's criminal. It is an act of a criminal. We have a criminal leader with a criminal mind and a criminal background and a criminal future and a criminal outlook on the world as general. He's a criminal in all aspects of his being.
We've jumped up to $80 per barrel this morning. Stocks are down, and it looks like the war is back on. The Iranians are attacking tankers, and I don't know if you watched any of that funeral stuff over in Iran, but the amount of hate and vitriol against Donald Trump, and just the flat out, not we hate you, Trump, we aim to kill you, Trump. I've never seen anything quite like that.
Well, Kash Patel has destroyed the FBI's ability to defend us against that type of attack on our political leaders. And the result will be pending. We'll have to see how that shakes out. But in terms of national defense and federal response to threats against our leaders, we have destroyed our ability to do that, with the directors of national intelligence turning out to be jokers from some circus down the road. And the result of that being we have no first line of defense against the type of attack that brought down the World Trade Center or anything similar to it, whether it be assassinations, attacks, bombings, you name it. We can't deal with it now. We put ourselves in a position where we cannot defend ourselves.
Yeah, I always go back to thinking along the lines of the line in The Godfather, where it says where Don Corleone is talking to Salazzo for the first time, and he's met with him, and he says, "I heard you're a serious man, and so I agreed to meet with you." I don't think any of our world leaders think that anybody that's running this country right now is a serious man or woman, for that matter. But I think it's the more you look at these people, the more you say it's a joke. And while it is easy to say, well, screw them, we don't need them, the fact of the matter is we live in a global economy. We live in a global world. The world is not the same as it was in 1945 or 1955 or 1965.
And it's not just our tankers that can't get through those Straits of Hormuz. Nobody's oil can get through there. Nobody's fertilizer ingredients. Nobody's shipped from the Middle East to China, to Australia, to the Philippines. None of that works anymore. And it's our fault.
Yeah, it's you just. Oh, by the way, West Texas crude is also up, $75 a barrel. That was $67 before the war. So the bottom line is, you can expect to see the price. Over the last week, you saw the price kind of drop a bit. I think here it's under. It had gone up back to under $4 a gallon. I don't think that's going to last too long. You're going to see that go right back up. And listen, how do you negotiate with these people?
They just say they don't care. They're of the opinion that they have no opinion. They just don't care. They don't care about it. They don't care about the shakeout. They don't care about the results of their actions. They don't care about the balance of power in the world. They don't care about any of it. They can't understand it. They can't deal with it. It's too complicated for Trump. And he's a menace to society and a menace to the planet.
Well, it just keeps getting you just can't fathom what can be next, but something is coming next. Now, this is a time when I think he should be. Now, all of a sudden, he's sucking up to Zelensky again. And Zelensky needs the help. I mean, he's done fine without us, really. But I guess he figures he needs the help. And Trump has said, well, maybe I'll sell you some weapons, some weapon systems, some ability to make these weapon systems.
Maybe I won't.
I guess they're looking. The Ukrainians are looking for Patriot systems, and so he says that. Well, yeah, maybe I can grant you a license to do that. Well, so now you're back with the Ukrainians. 6 months ago, you didn't want anything to do with them.
You told them they didn't have the cards. It was time to pack it in.
Yeah, and so how can you expect anybody to want to get involved with you if you don't know what the hell you're doing?
He can't hold a thought for 5 minutes, whatever it may be, on any subject, on any topic, on any conflict. He can't hold a thought for more than 5 minutes. And the usual tropes that he drags out, saying that a lot of people tell him, and a lot of people are saying, and that we're the hottest country, and everyone's thinking about how hot a country we are, and that we're the greatest military in the world, and everybody wants to be buying stuff from us. And the idea that he can say these things like they've never been said before, there's another one of them, is comical. And the international press treated him with that, without kid gloves, just now in his press conference in Ankara, because he can't field a question normally. He has to criticize, first of all, who you represent. Represent the New York Times. Wow, that's a failed newspaper. Why would you want to work for them? MS Now. Oh, that's a shitty organization. Can't you get a better job than that? And then he'll answer the question in his own way with no facts, no figures, no ability to
nothing to back it up.
He doesn't even circle the truth. He just goes straight for the lie. Everything he says is a lie. Everything he says is a distortion. And it's sickening.
Well, again, what's going to happen here is if this has any legs to it, this renewed war, we're going to be in a lot of prices are going to go up more. There's no way, and he's not doing anything to help people.
No,
I mean, if
no systems in place.
Yeah, if you're having a war and you're doing this, and you say to people, you turn around, and you say to people, I understand that we're doing this thing in Iran, and we really need to do it because X, Y, and Z. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to freeze the price of gasoline so that you're not going to suffer. We're going to have the oil companies bear the brunt of this for a little while. We're going to have the oil companies and the grocery companies and all these companies that are making phenomenal profits, that are seeing their stock prices go up. We're going to tell them that they have to hang on. We're going to get these prices to where at least you can afford to go to the grocery store. You cannot get out of the grocery store without spending $40 these days. You get a dozen eggs, a gallon of milk, and a couple of pieces of hamburger, and it's $40. And now, when I was in Canada a couple of weeks ago, they've already come up with a program up there that tells the people in Canada, if you're having financial difficulty, we will help you. We have grants available. We've removed the federal tax on gasoline. We've removed a few other taxes in this tough time, and they're not even involved in the war. They're just a recipient of what America has done, what we have done, what they have done in our name. And then when you add on top of that the idiocy that went on at the beginning of the week with the whole soccer deal.
Not a word about that after Belgium cleaned their clock.
Right. Not even, hey, our Americans did a good job. And I mean, it's amazing. I mean, the whole sports world now is pissed off. You should have seen, I mean, I don't know if you were online and you saw any of it on Tuesday, Monday night and Tuesday, but the vitriol against America, the vitriol against Donald Trump was, it was unbelievable. And not just from other countries, but the people in our country. I mean, people truly believe that he is a curse. Earlier this year, he went to the Knicks game, and they lost that game. Now this whole thing with soccer.
Everything he touches, and everything he touches in any category.
He touches just turns to shit.
Comes up mud.
People don't want him at their sporting events. Stay away. He doesn't have a kind word to say about anybody or anything.
Except himself, self-aggrandizement.
And the only thing he can do is with even at the speech that he gave for the 250th anniversary of our country, he had to work the 2020 election in there.
Oh, it wasn't about the 250. It was just about Donald Trump's day. Here's how my day went.
Nothing about how great the accomplishments of this country are. It's what he did. Nobody could do anything before him. Nobody can, only he. And the sad thing is, well, there's two sad things. Number one, that he believes it. And number two, there are still idiots out there. And that's all I can I hate to call them names, but if you still believe in this guy, You're a whack job.
You have some serious problems that
If
cannot
you
be
still
addressed.
believe in Donald Trump, you just don't get it. No matter what
You
your
don't
politics
understand the
are.
fix we're in. You just simply don't.
And it's really
So is Mitch McConnell dead? Is he being kept in a small room like a goldfish?
don't look to me for any sympathy for this guy,
No, he definitely
because
earned
he is
his
directly responsible for this mess that we're in.
he earned his karmic slash.
I hope it's a slow, painful one for him. What that son of a bitch has done to this country could even be worse than Trump. It could even be worse than
He
Donald
hasn't got
Trump.
the range. He has enabled Donald Trump to be himself. And
He's responsible for
prevented balance to come to the Supreme Court. Single-handedly prevented the balance that was necessary, and that's on him.
the racism that he exhibited against Barack Obama, and a guy that was actually trying to do something to make this country better. I mean, he wasn't perfect. He had his faults, Barack Obama. But the stuff that he pulled against Obama, to me, was nothing but blatant racism. We're not going to let this dark guy get anything done. They couldn't accept that a black man.
You have to have the votes to do shit like that, and that's what the Republicans have had. Now it's time for the American people to take all those votes away from them, from guys like Mike Johnson and all the rest of his crew of nincompoops.
I'm not convinced that the American people are going to act as they should and throw these bums out. And the Democratic Party seems to be doing just about everything it can to shoot itself in the foot. They need Maine. This guy Plattner up in Maine.
There is no number 2 after Plattner. There's nobody that's going to take his place and earn the election.
There actually is our people. There are other people that were on that ballot that garnered votes.
Votes, but not enough.
Well, not enough to beat him.
Strange, not even to beat Plattner, let alone Susan Collins.
Well, I don't know. From what I have seen and read, I'm trying to call it up here. In that particular race, and I'm trying to get the Democratic the results up, but there are a couple of people who people believe that can beat her.
The people of Maine have been pretty loyal to her. I don't know why. When you look at Susan Collins, all you see is Donald Trump. You don't see anything else. There is no part 2. She is an embodiment of Donald Trump and has damaged the futures of Maine with her incessant voting in lockstep with him. And you can refer to in November of 25, she voted against him. She stepped right up, and 1 out of 100 swings was for you, not for Donald Trump. But I don't buy that. Susan Collins is Donald Trump. If you see her anywhere, you're seeing Donald Trump.
If she's not Donald Trump, she's stupid. And somebody that's stupid I mean, she had the famous line, well, he's learned from this experience.
I think he's learned.
Yeah, I think he's learned from this experience. So that there's a couple of names that are, I don't know, that seem that I'm trying to get the results.
The deadline is coming today, isn't it not?
No, I think it's Monday. The deadline is Monday. Part of the problem is that Plattner won't let the nomination go. He's trying to jockey to be able to have a say in who replaces him. He's not viable. He's done. He was viable and probably electable before these rape allegations came out. But, and again, the Democrats, did they not vet this guy? Did they not do evidently they didn't do a backup check, a background check.
He wasn't their choice. So whether he was vetted or not, he wasn't the choice of the Democratic Party. He was the choice of the people.
But anybody who projected to be that high, they had to have a feeling at some point that he had the possibility of winning. So somebody should have done some kind. Now there's a couple of background checks. There's one you can do that's like a cursory. It's like the one you get if you want to drive for Uber. You know, it's a $25 background check, and you put the name in the computer and know this, know that. But there's a larger background check, a more thorough investigation of people that cost about $20,000. And the Democrats chose, because of the amount of money that was involved, not to do that around him. And these rumors around Plattner had been going on. It's not like this is the first anybody's heard of this stuff. And as soon as those rumors started to come in, started to, buzz, somebody should have hit the button and said, let's spend the 20 and let's investigate this guy. But in the zeal to get somebody who they thought was kind of like a John Fetterman, kind of like an everyman.
That's just what you need, another idiot.
They decided not to do it. And sure enough, that, somebody stepped forward and has the receipts, has the stuff to prove that this guy did something. So the Democrats got to get their shit together too. I mean, you're not going to convince anybody to vote for you if you just rail on Donald Trump. I mean, we saw that with Kamala Harris. It didn't work. You got to put the vision out there also of what you are, what you want to do. And the Democratic Socialists, while I think that they have some very good ideas, still scares people. So you can't lean on going out to people around this country and saying, well, the Democratic Socialist thing, look at it. Because the word socialist scares people away.
The details that they put in their platform in terms of affordability and the economy are eye-openers. And the rank and file Democrats cannot play that game. They won't tell you what they're going to do to make your life better. They're just going to say it will be better. It's got to be better the way we do it. But the actual turnaround, it's necessary because the Trump years have so screwed up our economy, and not just here, but internationally, that the idea of affordability is a pipe dream without major changes, right. without a reversal of the way we're going now. without a super change in the way we operate. And to imagine otherwise is just craziness. The economy of the nation is in tatters. You saw the jobs report, 57,000 for a month. It's insane. The idea that the stock market is the way to measure the success of the nation. The idea that AI building warehouses all across the country is going to somehow rescue the working man of America. Not true. Not true at all. AI is not a gift. It's a curse.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. But this unfettered growth of tech without responsibility is another thing that we really don't have a handle on.
Who got to sit in the tech section of the inauguration, if you remember?
Well, yeah, I mean,
there was a whole tech box. Everybody was there.
Yeah, all of the usual suspects, and some you don't know.
In the tech skybox.
So the Democrats, the people that are espousing the idea that the Democrats have an easy walk these midterms.
They have the advantage. It won't be easy.
I don't see it. I am not convinced.
The ones you can thank are the Democratic lawyers who are going to save you in court of all these challenges from state to state over the election, because that's going to be a monster.
Well, that's
going to be huge.
And
you can thank him in advance.
And they have put, and there is, we haven't even talked about the climate that's going to happen when all of these different registrar of elections and all these different election people that the Republicans have put into place over the past 8 years, coupled with the redistricting, the gerrymandering that's been going on. I mean, this is going to be no walk in the park. And any Democrat that thinks that they can sit back, or any independent, I'm not even just going to say Democrat, any independent that feels that they need to see change, that they are not happy with the way this country is running, that they see the problems and they need to at least put a stronger check on Donald Trump's powers and make him a lame duck for the final 2 years of his presidency.
It's necessary.
Better get off their butts.
And what's your recommendation to the Republicans who are running against them? What the hell do they expect to be able to do that's going to be successful?
Well, I would detach myself from, if I were a Republican running in these upcoming midterms, I would detach myself from Donald Trump as far as I could. What's he going to do to you?
Take your money. Take all your Republican money.
Well,
all of it. And give it to somebody who runs against you.
Yeah, I mean, so you're going to have to figure something out, but you're going to have to distance yourself, especially if this war continues. Because
what are you going to say? I was with him for 8 years, but now I'm not. You can trust me on this one.
Yeah,
everybody says that I'm not.
Well, we know that that's a bunch of bullshit, but the reality is you're going to have to do something to separate yourself from him, because I think that by the time the midterms roll around, because he's not going to change, he's not going to screw up, he's not going to soften up, he's not going to change his tune, he's not going to suddenly become a different Donald Trump.
He'd become more dangerous than less
heading
dangerous.
as a matter of fact, he may become, you're right, he may become more dangerous. He may
Because-
figure out that there's nothing to lose.
Right.
And he may want to go out in an insane way.
I'm going down. I'm taking everybody with me.
And I wouldn't put it past him.
You shouldn't.
And the idiots that are already out there saying that, well, maybe we should start a draft Donald Trump Jr. movement.
Good grief.
Really? Is that the way you want to go?
Well, we don't have a candidate for either party, do we?
We got a couple. Well, listen.
We got 2 years. You got 2 years to come up with somebody.
Who do you think it's going to be? I mean, right now, on the Republican side, it's Marco Rubio or it's J.D. Vance. I don't think J.D. Vance has the
wherewithal,
the gravitas, the wherewithal, what has he done? As a matter of fact, when you go back and you look at him, he looks like a guy that flips positions on the turn of a dime. He looks like a guy that blows with the wind. He does not look like a leader, J.D. Vance.
I heard one prognosticator this morning say, watch for Vance now to start distancing himself from Trump on the war, on the economy, on everything. And that's a dangerous thing to do with your vice president. Ask Mike Pence. They were going to hang Mike Pence if they could find him, but he was in the car park, well guarded, and they didn't find him. But hang JD would not surprise anybody.
The other thing, and the other name that comes up, and that I think you really got to consider, because I think he does have a certain part of gravitas, and he has in some ways distanced himself. He's rolled his eyes at Donald Trump enough, and that's Marco Rubio, little Marco. By the way, have you seen that parody that's running around the internet about little Marco? I'll have to send it to you. I'll have to see if I can find it and send it to you. It's hilarious. It's one of the funniest things I've seen in the entire 6 years of the Trump presidency. But I think that he is probably the front runner on the Republican side.
He's going to have a hard time owning this war because it's right in his lap.
Yeah, it is. But he's also these last 2 years. I say that, but then I see the picture of him standing there in the big shoes.
somebody else's shoes, willing to wear somebody else's shoes to please the Fuhrer.
And I laugh at it, and I say to myself, I don't know. Do you want this guy? Do you want somebody who doesn't even have the balls to tell the president these are the wrong size shoes?
And Trump today is talking about Cuba and Greenland again. He's ready to launch his offensive to liberate those two countries.
Well,
I'll just say there's a sports analogy here. If you can't beat Belgium, don't take on Greenland.
Yeah, let me see if I can call this up for you. This is a pretty funny. All right, I'm gonna hit my share the screen. I want you to see this. I think you're gonna love this. Okay, where are we? Little Marco song. And share. All right, can you see that?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
is clearly divertido when you think they're really neato. A diplomatic player quite so small. And yet as we embarco on the reign of Middle Marco, it's really kind of funny after all. A bully and a blowhard, you never ship and cash in.
Oops, sorry about
and
that.
he always seems to fail. A bully and a blowhard, he never fails to go hard on populations frailer than the rest. The truth is he's a rookie who is working for a crookie, and he always seems to fail the latest test. Little Michael, can't you see you're being played? You were confidently made as a patsy from the start. Little Michael, oh, why must you be so weak and a sneaky kind of beat and with such a tiny heart? Little Michael, you have made your dollhouse bed. You are in above your head. That's a part I'd have to fear. You're the emptiest pinata, and your dignity is nada. You're the unrepentant sellout of the year. Yes, he flies to countless places, to disparage countless races. A vote for the old that screams of being white. Can he see why they resent him? 'Cause the lunatic who sent him is a global and ignoble parasite. Oh, he plays it being hawkish. He's obsequious and moffish. A cubano who is guano to the core. So he keeps up his charading and the fraudulent crusading, 'cause he wants to keep his job a few days more. Little Michael, can't you see you're being played? You were confidently made as a patsy from the start. Little Michael, oh, why must you be so weak and a squeaky kind of geek and with such a tiny heart? Little Michael, you have made your dollhouse bed. You are in above your head. That's a part I'd hard to clear. You're the envious pinata, and your dignity is nada. You're the unrepentant son of the year. There once was a time you showed compassion, a son of exiles vowing to be true. So why did you jump the ship and cash in? You trained those who look a lot like you. Can't you see you're being played? You were confidently made as a patsy from the start. Oh, why must you be so weak and a sneaky kind of geek that was such a tiny heart? You have made your dollhouse bed. You are in above your head. That's a part I hard to clear. You're the emptiest pinata, and your dignity is nada. You're the unrepentant soul of the year. Little Marco.
Wow. Well done.
How was that?
Extraordinary. That proves that anything can be done with editing and AI and special effects. Anything.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Anything can be done with special effects and editing and AI. Anything that you can imagine.
I love the Desi Arnaz
Yes.
in there. I just think that it was the perfect thing to just pull it all together, you know? That's just a great piece. Everyone I've played that for has just raved about it. So
It's really remarkable work.
yeah, whoever did that, well, what a job, man! What an absolute! I mean, that should. If there was a real MTV, they'd be playing it.
But there is no longer an MTV.
Well,
It
not
just
as we
says-
knew it.
It just says MTV. It doesn't mean MTV.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of strange.
Just like CBS is not CBS anymore. What can you
Yeah,
do
really.
about that? How can that doesn't even make sense to me?
Have you watched the? I mean, I had watched that show before that Byron Allen show, Comics Unleashed, and it's nothing. I
That's
mean,
nothing.
yeah, it's nothing. They might as well just run infomercials in there. By the way, whatever happened to infomercials?
They're on Discovery every night.
Are they? Yeah, yeah. I just never. I just don't see them. You know, like on the broadcast channels. I just don't see them. So I'm glad to know that they're still alive. I don't want to think that Billy Mays. Well, he's been gone for a while, but Vince the ShamWow guy is out of work.
He would be better than what the people that they do have, but they try to impress you with their legitimacy. They don't want to look like clowns anymore. They don't want to look like showmen. They want you to buy some way to grow tomatoes in your yard that'll cost you a fortune.
Yeah, or I love the AI generated fruit tree commercials where they show the cherry tree literally popping cherries out. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, there's some guy in Alabama that's looking at this and saying, okay, I'm going to send them $49.95 for a dead cherry tree.
And then get out of my way, boys. I'm coming through.
I'm coming through. Look out. You know, I did want to say something about the soccer games that we're hearing, of course, the way they ended on Monday night with the loss. But got to give Seattle a lot of credit, man. Got to give, now I didn't go down to it, but I just watched it on TV and I just heard people that were down there and talked to people that were down there. And the city really stepped up.
Yeah.
You know, the city really
the spirit was there.
Yeah. They made a very inclusive, encompassing environment for not only the USA fans that were here, that came here, but also the fans from other countries that came here. And it was lots of them. You know, we had that new waterfront park that was just completed 6 or 8 months ago. And that became a gathering place for people. It became a place where people from all different countries got together. And from what I understand, there wasn't too many bad incidents. No, not a lot of crime. I don't think anybody got shot. I don't think anybody got stabbed. I think for the most part,
the fans from around the world that have come to various places all across the nation have enjoyed themselves, loved it, written about how wonderful it was, how friendly the people were, how welcoming everybody was, how accommodating they were. And the food was great, and the hotels were great, and the venues were great, and the stadiums were great. They had a wonderful time. But when they got down to playing that game, which was so controversial because Trump put his nose in it, the fact remained obvious to the entire game that Belgium was a small country, but they had a big team. And they attacked, they scored, they defended in a way that neutralized everything the U.S. was doing. And they could bring in their star, they could bring in their backups, they could try every game that they knew, but they did not play on they didn't have the strengths to call upon to defeat Belgium. And that became pretty obvious.
And I got the feeling, and again, I don't know soccer from, I'm not a soccer guy. I don't know soccer. I don't follow the sport.
But you can watch the matchup of any two teams and see who's got the advantage.
I did get the feeling that the United States team was rattled by what happened. Even though they really got an advantage, with having their star player there instead of being out. For
Although it didn't play out that way.
Yeah, I just got the feeling, got the sense from player interviews and stuff like that I saw that even they felt that odd. They thought that they had been given an advantage that was unfair,
Mm-hmm.
and they were almost embarrassed about it. And maybe I don't know if that played into the way they played, but it's certainly in hearing interviews with the players and stuff like that. You just got the feeling as a guy that reads into these kinds of things that they weren't, that if they were given a choice, if Trump would have called them up and said, "Do you want me to intervene on your behalf?" that they would have said no.
And the fact that he did intervene on their behalf, it didn't amount to anything. It didn't change the game. It just shamed the team, and the process was tainted.
Well, sometimes the sports gods have a way of equaling things out. Sometimes the sports gods have a way of making having the right thing happen.
A good way to describe the game was when it was 3-1 and everybody was putting in their subs in the last 5 minutes. The Belgian subs scored another, made it 4-1. Their subs were better than our subs, and that's the way the whole game was.
And I love the fact that they trolled Donald Trump. Again, they did that little Trump dance that he likes to do, that jerking two guys off bit that he seems to love to do, to YMCA. So I don't know if you saw the tape of the Belgian team in their locker room after the match, but they were to a man singing YMCA while they were doing the dance. So it was a rather large fuck you, Donald Trump, from the Belgian team. And I think it's sad because that American team, there was no way they were going to win, because even if they had won the match, it was going to be tainted. It was going to have an asterisk next to it. It's always going to be that match that Donald Trump intervened and that player was where he wasn't supposed to be.
Now, Belgium was going to play Spain Friday, I think, Friday or Saturday. And the interesting thing about that is today Trump put a 7,000 tariff on Spain for some reason. They said something that upset him at the NATO conference in Turkey, and so he lays on a tariff on all Spanish goods.
What a piece of crap.
So now I got to root for Spain. I was going to root for Belgium because they showed themselves so well. But now I got to root for Spain because they're on the short end of the stick. They deserve some support.
Yeah, well, I'll
And who would have thought that the World Cup would have had in any way paralleled real events in politics for the countries of the world, sports teams of the world, representing the events of the real political world.
Well, we've managed to get it involved. I mean, it was involved anyway. It's
because FIFA's so weird.
It's been involved. The Olympics have been involved. The World Cup has been involved. NFL football has been involved. I mean, it's been involved. And it's just so sad, because you just instead of young men and women being able to play their sport unfettered, you have to have a nitwit like Trump stick his nose in it and turn it into.
Do nitwits have noses?
Yeah, they do.
They do.
They
I thought
do.
they might.
And turn it into turn us into a joke. Turn our country into a joke
Exactly.
again.
That's exactly what has happened.
And even though you can say, well, it's separate, we're not Donald Trump and Donald Trump. He is us.
Very much so.
He is us. He is our president. He is representative of us. And
Nothing we can do about that at the moment.
it's just how you it's just sad to see it spread to the world of sports as it did.
We wish it would spread to the world of politics so that we actually had a Congress, but we don't have one. We just
No,
have,
we don't.
just
We
have
don't.
little
We have a bunch of
gerbils.
It's a cult. We have a cult running this thing, and there'll be an opportunity to break free from the cult in November. But man, people better not take the summer off.
Well, the summer is going to be, all the travel days of the summer going to be punctuated by high gas prices. No one can forget that. Once a week, twice a week, you go to the pump and Donald Trump is waiting for you there with a bad message that he can't control, that he can't talk his way out of. The price is right there, and it's Donald Trump's fault. Every cent of it is him in your pocket. Go to the grocery store. Everything that's brought in by a truck is going to be more expensive. Donald Trump is the man, the single man, and responsible for it. Nobody else can. Everybody as a Republican gets to be tainted by his actions because you do nothing, Republicans, to stop him or to claim that that's far enough and no further.
Well, maybe we ought to, maybe somehow somebody ought to make up stickers that say "Thank you, Donald Trump," and start sticking them on gas pumps up and down the West Coast and the East Coast. Actually, I think they'd be more effective in the middle of the country. But to remind people every time they gas up their cars, why gas is going to be $6 a gallon, $7 a gallon. I originally said it was going to be July 4th, and it was certainly headed there before this peace that he came up with. It is now war again.
He couldn't handle the peace. It was just too boring. This is much more eventful.
He's grown tired and bored of this war, and now he's got to jump back in his lap.
He was bored of the ceasefire. He couldn't handle that.
And there's nobody that will, or it doesn't seem like there's anybody who will come to him and say, listen, this is wrong. You can't do this. You're killing us.
If there was a war that he was winning, the Straits of Hormuz would be operated by us. But we can't affect the daily operation of the Strait of Hormuz. We have no influence there. We are as if we have no military, no navy, nothing. There's nothing we can do to open it, nothing we can do to keep it open, nothing we can do to neutralize it. Nothing. That's not the action of what he calls the most needed, the most respected military in the world, the greatest military on the planet. Can't open the Straits of Hormuz, can't maintain it.
Yeah.
Cannot.
And the way he abandoned the Ukraine, I can understand why
everyone in NATO knows that could happen to them.
Is reluctant to get involved with us.
They're going to go their own way.
They're
going to stay organized without us.
Yeah. We don't need you.
In fact, we can't have you. You're a detriment to the organization.
Yeah. We've decided that we don't need you. And that's not a good thing for us. Again, This is, for those people who say, well, we're America, who needs anybody else? We need everybody else. What would we do if tomorrow somebody declared war on us? Everything that we...
First thing Trump would speak about is where's our support? Where's our allies? Where's our help? Where's our supporters? You pissed them away last year. You haven't been around for a long while, but you just didn't notice.
Yeah, everything is that I mean, we don't have anything that we manufacture here anymore.
Propaganda.
Could you imagine instituting a draft and trying to get people to go to war, to send their kids to war to die for Donald Trump and his mistake? It looked like the French army in 1940.
Well, we don't have much to show for our army. What did our generals, what did our admirals, what did our organizers say? What advice did they give? What organization did they put together? What plan did they put on the table to make sure that things were going to work well? Certainly, they never thought that the Strait of Hormuz was going to be part of it. They did nothing to defend it. They did nothing to secure it. They never mentioned it.
No, how could you? How yeah, I mean, and it goes back to how could you possibly think that the Iranians were not going to at some point use that? It was the biggest tool they had in their toolbox.
And it worked perfectly.
It was the biggest thing they had. It's their biggest piece of leverage.
Normally, I would say this would be a wacky Wednesday, but given the events, I'm going to call it a woeful Wednesday. Yeah. Woeful indeed. And I hope that the Freaky Fractious Friday gets me out of this mood.
I hope so, Michael. I mean, well, I really want what will get me out of the mood. What will make me feel better is if I start to. Well, I want him to get this Plattner thing straightened out, because if this goes on too long, you could kiss that seat goodbye.
I think it's already too late.
I don't think so. I think if they get a viable, good candidate.
Well, why didn't they have a viable candidate before? I don't think there was one.
Well, I think part of the appeal of Plattner was that he had that Fetterman thing about him.
He was an oyster farmer.
Well, yeah, he had that everyman kind of. He's not perfect, but
rough-hewn, but reliable.
He connects with people.
Well, that's true, and that was
Fetterman's connects with all the people that aren't perfect out there.
Fetterman now has decided to disconnect with everybody.
Well, listen, Fetterman hasn't been the same. I mean, I know John Fetterman a long time, and he's not the same John Fetterman that he was 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
There are times in political discussions when you say you're with us or against us, which is it going to be? And he said, well, it's interesting you give me that choice. I'm against you.
Well, again, this is a guy that had a serious brain injury. Maybe he doesn't belong in the office anymore. Maybe he's not functioning right.
I think he's gone.
Maybe he doesn't see things like he's seen it before. I don't know.
A two-part question. Is John Fetterman and Mitch McConnell, is either one of them alive?
Well, I mean, they're both alive. I don't wish the same thing, or I don't hold the same animosity toward Fetterman than most people do. I'm pretty pissed off at him for going the way he's going. But again, this is a guy that's had some serious problems.
Yeah, but his problems now become our problems, and I don't.
Well, yeah.
I'll see you Friday, Vinnie. It'll be a freaky day, and it'll be a fractious Friday.
Yes, it'll be a freaky fractious Friday, and
I hope you're driving a fun car, so we can have some fun with that.
I'll have some. We'll have some fun with cars, and we'll also, we gotta open up the banner and look toward the Chinese cars that are coming to Canada. There's dealerships getting set up already, and pretty soon you'll be able to buy a Chinese electric car. And Fiat, I'll have some really. I got a really important note about Fiat. They're doing something really cool that I have been. That 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I wanted them to do. And finally, somebody at Stellantis said, you know what? We're going to do this because Vinnie asked us to. A guy named
Excellent.
Vinnie out in Seattle asked us to do this, so we're going to do it.
I appreciate that effort on our behalf. Thank you.
All right, Mikey. I'll see you on Friday if the Lord's will and the creek don't rise.
I'll be here with what kind of Manischewitz wine?
Oh, peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby.
What a wine. See you,
See you,
man.
Mikey. Thank you all for listening. We always appreciate it. Little Marco. What a great production.